All right, guys. What's up? How are you guys doing? Hope everything is well with you. Like I said, you're gonna see multiple screens. Sorry. So, like I said, I could try to do live at home, but let me tell you, it is hard to do live at home. So what I'm going to do is, let me see. Viewers, talk to me. Let me know what's going on. Are you here? Are you listening? Are you watching? What's going on? Who is here in this live with me? Anybody here in this live with me? Just go ahead and let me know you're here in the chat. Happy Wednesday to you. Hey, Kyle Morris. Hey, Kaylee. Hey, Sasha. Hope you guys are good. Sorry, I had to clear my throat there. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to check my calendar because I think we're all over the place with meeting times at 1. What I am going to do is I'm going to keep it at 1, but at times if I need to be in a meeting because there's a standing faculty meeting, what I'll do is that I'll just record it, and then we'll do an activity around the recording. Like I said, if you're just hopping on, let me know you're in here. And what we'll do, I'll just get started really quick. Like I said, actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to set my timer because I know y'all are busy. This online stuff is no joke. So can I get a heck yes in the chat that online learning is a trip? Okay, it's a trip. So I understand. I feel y'all's pain. It is a trip. So, yeah, I set it at 25 minutes. So, like I said, just so I won't be wasting nobody's time here. So what we're going to do, we're going to get right into talking about busy ain't the word. Yeah, so I will say that it is overwhelming. If it's overwhelming for you guys, if it's overwhelming for me, it's overwhelming for you guys times 100 for you, for sure. Especially with so many changes with everybody's Wi-Fi or at-home internet connection. Yeah, so I'm right there with you. Like a lot of these live videos have to come from my office because anytime I make the attempt to do a live of any degree at my apartment, it just shuts down everything in my apartment. So, all right. So, some of you have asked me a few questions about your project, which are all good questions. And you can always indicate here the selection of your semester-long project, which is what I want you to do. Just kind of let me know that, hey, I selected my project. If you still have questions, don't fret by looking at this. I want you to reach out to me, message me like, hey, Ms. Nesbitt, let's talk through this project really quick. I just need some ideas. I need to be guided in the right direction. All you got to do is let me know, and I will look out for you. I'll help you out. And this is different from Loom. I have to kind of toggle back and forth between screens. Like I said, when you talk to me, we'll write down your topic and we'll just kind of move forward with it. And that's pretty much it. Little housekeeping items. You'll go into your PowerPoints, which will start at chapter 4, and you'll see these discussion questions, okay? Don't panic. Don't fret. That is not an assignment. All right. So those discussion questions are good just to kind of probe your brain, not bore you, but probe your brain a little bit to see if you understand the concept of this chapter, which we're going to talk a little bit about epidemiology, something that is insane to learn. But don't feel obligated or don't panic if you see these discussion questions because that is not an assignment. Just to kind of keep the load off of you guys, I'm trying to stay away from the excessive assignments in this specific course because I know that there's a lot going on. And I feel like that sometimes when you excessively overload something with a whole bunch of busy work, sometimes you're not learning anything. That's just my personal opinion. So I want you guys to, really learn something out of this course, as opposed to applying public health concepts in physical therapy, athletic training, personal training, strength and conditioning, coaching, that type of ordeal. So, capiche? Let me see. It could be any, Cal Morris, to answer your question, it could be about anything of which what your discipline you're interested in. So if you're interested in being a PE teacher, like maybe in terms of public health, as far as picking a topic, it might be relation to students and any type of gaps occurring as far as housing situation or housing makeup in reference to how it impacts their growth as a child. So that's a public health issue. And we've seen, just to go right into it, you've seen a lot of articles that are out there that are saying that many states across the nation are saying that racism is a public health issue. And it exists on different systemic levels, one of them being education, because of kind of the districting, if I could talk, situation. And they talk about that there are disparities in as far as achievement gaps that are occurring in relation to students, which does impact their health long term. So, you can go as deep as that if you want to, Cal Morris. Hope it answers your question. But it's in relation to how you can take a public health concept and apply it within your discipline, or whether you can apply it into your desired career path. So, answer your question, Cal Morris. Roundabout. But... So yeah, if you still want to talk to me, just message me. I want you to be as creative as possible. Helps me help you to get some understanding about the basics of public health without going real deep into public health. So Cal Morris, let me know if they answer your question. If not, send me a message through the Remind app. Got my phone right here. All right, so what I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to toggle back and forth between this. Let me see. Gotcha. All right, so just to keep it basic, keep it, simple, talking about Chapter 4, the basic science aspect of public health. Let me see. Kevin, Chris, all right, now make sure y'all stay. Don't leave. I got my timer on. I ain't going to bore y'all to death. We got 19 minutes. So, just to make sure, just wanted to talk about epidemiology and help you answer your discussion post about social math. So basically, epidemiology is the science of, foundation of public health as to why public health practitioners, I'm going to try my best, gotcha, as is the reason why public health practitioners come up with the concepts that they come up with all the studies that they come up with. That's why they assume certain ethnicities and races are exposed to certain diseases. There's basically a data proven or a scientific aspect as to why things happen the way they do, and its occurrence and its prevalence and its prognosis. So going into a little bit of that, like I said, I'm not going to go too deep because epidemiology, if you are interested in epidemiology, then you can pay close attention to this. But for those who are not, let me know. Say, hey, I'm over epidemiology already, okay? Or you're not trying to focus on epidemiology. If you're into math and you're into why things happen the way they do, then epidemiology is for you. So now you're wondering how epidemiologists collect information. They do it through marriage certificates, divorce decrees, death certificates, basically students who enter into college, students who come out of college. They're basically measuring all of what's going on. So even the time you were born, it was measured. How, if you lost a loved one, like I lost my dad, that's how I figured out what a death certificate was. That's measured. How he passed away. If you get married, that's going to be something that is measured. So anytime something, for the most part, anytime something generates a certificate, you're basically being measured, okay? You're just kind of being blended into the population. Does measure who, when, and where. What's happening? How do we know that marriage is successful in Lexington? One example is they talk about Lexington being the most educated city, I think, in the nation. I think that's what it says at Bluegrass. I think. Let me know if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure at Bluegrass Airport it says welcome to the best educated city. Is because what it's doing is that it's measuring the amount of people entering higher education in that specific city or as they're entering jobs. So and they kind of compare it to those who are not. So that's really how they kind of take that information, they measure it, and that's it kind of does go into disease pattern measurement, because they say that those who have an advanced education are, they have better health outcomes. So that's kind of where a roundabout process of epidemiology. I ain't going to go too deep into that because, like I said, epidemiology is deep. So I'm pretty sure all of y'all have heard about contact tracing. Okay, we're in the middle of this pandemic, and basically to ensure that nobody is going around spreading COVID-19, that's what contact tracing is about. And you probably heard it. You probably seen it as a job offer. You probably heard about it in the news, the paper, even on social media. Basically, what contact tracing is that all it is just surveillance. Okay, so God forbid, knock on wood, knock on some wood next door, or put in the chat, fingers crossed, whatever you want to do, fingers crossed. If one of us were to be near a group of people who may have tested positive for COVID-19 or was around somebody with COVID-19, and we were to be around them, and then we go somewhere else and someone else catches it and they go to the hospital and they're talking to a contact tracer, and they're going to be like, well, who are you near within the last 48 hours? And then they're going to tell you basically everybody who you were near, okay? And that's how contact tracing works. Now, I've heard stories of people saying that contact tracing basically strips someone of their rights. From what I've read and from what I know from someone who works in epidemiology, as an epidemiologist, said that they're not taking away anybody's rights. They're simply making recommendations to basically sit down. So don't go nowhere, that type of thing. So that's what epidemic surveillance is all about. They're just basically tracking down where and who comes from what to basically go in that particular area and make these recommendations. So that's where they made this recommendation that we shouldn't be gathering. So yeah, I don't know about you guys, but you could put over it. I'm over COVID-19. I know we gotta be safe, but I'm ready to, I'm ready to go on vacation, take me something tropic, or, not worrying about COVID-19. You could put I'm over it in the chat. So different studies have came out in the past in relation to epidemiology. Basically, you've heard of an outbreak of maybe E. coli, maybe an outbreak of salmonella. Basically what that is that if that were to occur, they take that disease that may have occurred in individuals and they try their best to kind of trace it back. So John Snow and cholera is a good example. Basically, they've traced where all this cholera came from, and it's tied to the water supply. So that's really how scientists kind of pinpoint exactly where something came from. I almost want to say that I just got a news report that reported a COVID-related death in relation to a bike rally gathering. Whew. So, any questions, comments, concerns? I'm going to pause right there. Let me see. I got 13 minutes. Questions, comments, concerns. If you have no questions, comments, concerns, to let me know you're here, type I'm good. To let me know you still hanging. Just let me know I'm good, Miss Nesbitt. I'm Gucci, Miss Nesbitt. Whatever works for you. I know they're coming. There's a little bit of a delay. I'm Gucci. Gotcha, Chris. Is that the only one that's Gucci here? I know. Are we other? Okay, Kaylee said I'm good. All right. Okay, so I'm good. All right, so I'm going to ask you a question, and you can say it in the chat. Okay, do you think, and this is your opinion, it's totally protected, we're in a safe environment, do you think contact tracing is going to help us kind of eliminate this pandemic. I mean, the discussion question is, why is epidemiologic surveillance important for public health? But I'm going to ask you guys this. Do you think contact tracing is beneficial, or do you think contact tracing is scaring everybody to death? I personally think it's scaring people to death. But, yeah, so let me know. It could be brief. You can say it's scaring people. You say it's beneficial. Yeah. Let me see. Like I said, there's a delay here. It's all good. Just let me know what you think. Is it scary? Beneficial? All right. And I do agree. It can be beneficial, because that way we know, for example, with it being Safety Week, we know that just right now that large gatherings are not the move. No, it's scaring people to death. COVID is going to be around for a good while. I do agree with that. Like I said, for you guys that might be nerds like me, I'm totally a nerd. Yes, I do think it's helping, but I see where it's scaring people. For the most part, it's helping and showing the spread. I agree. One of the things about contact tracing is that it is, I kind of can go both sides. It's scaring people because I think that with COVID-19, information changes so much, okay? I mean, early on in this pandemic, they were saying no need to wear a mask, and then they turned it around and said, you need a mask. Early on in the pandemic, there was like, everybody needs to get antibody testing. Now they have turned around and said antibody testing is useless. So at first they were saying, oh yeah, if you get the disease once, you're never going to get it again. But some people have contracted COVID-19 twice. So there's so much information that's out there. So I think that's the reason why it is scaring people, because their perceptions are being changed as a result of kind of constant changing information. But as professionals like you and I are, and as future educators or future medical providers, it's important that we know the importance of flexibility, okay? Knowing that, this could change, that might change. Same thing with the flu vaccine. They say that we should be inoculated every year. However, there's a different strain of flu every year. So those are things that we just need to be mindful of in terms of any type of disease outbreak or any type of infection, anything of that nature. So contact tracing, I could go both ways. It's scaring people half to death because information changes, but it's beneficial so we can work to, stop the spread. But I'm with Cal Morris. It's going to be around for a little bit. Spanish flu, we've all heard of that. Spanish flu, it started out in 1918. It didn't go away until 1920. So harsh reality is that this pandemic is going to be here for a minute. So until we could try to slow the spread. So some people don't want to believe it, but that's a whole nother topic. Okay. Do you think that epidemiology, just from basics, from what you know, got 9 minutes, from basics of what you know about epidemiology, do you think it's helping us understand diseases like heart disease or lung cancer? Or, no, wait a minute. Let me ask you this. For epidemiology, what topic, outside of COVID-19, because we know that that's ever changing, what topic would you like to see be, or kind of what would you like to dive into as a result of epidemiology? What more, or how will we work with epidemiology to increase information on? For example, I'll be vain for a little bit, just for a little bit. I would like for more studies in epidemiology on how nail salons are, like, who came up with the conclusion that nail salons are gross. So I go to a nail salon, but I also go to a nail tech, so just an independent nail tech. So I want to know, how do people get information to assume that nail salons are gross? Same thing with fitness centers. I want to know, how do they assume that fitness centers are just nasty? So what is something that you think that more I can't even talk today. This online lecturing thing is interesting. But what topics do you want more studies on? Let me know in the chat. like I said, I think I want to know more about like hair salons, nail salons. Like, who assumed that nail salons are gross? So let me know. Like I said, tell me in the chat. Think of something that is something you want more studies on. Yeah. So that's just the basics of, after reading the book, it said coffee causes pancreas. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, who says this? I will say this, that I want to know, I want more information on how all of a sudden, and I could see why a lot of African American women, as such as myself, has stopped getting relaxers, and now it's all of a sudden, now getting hair color and relaxers was tied to various number of cancers. I would like to see more studies on that. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm trying to figure out how. All right, so questions, comments, concerns. Can I move on? Can I get a yep? Can I get a yerp? All right. All right, so I'm gonna stick here. All right, Kayla, gotcha. Talking about disease frequency. All right, so prevalence kind of. Oh, Sasha, pause. I really want somebody to do a study on Herbalife. Okay, Herbalife, potato. I really want somebody to do a study on that, because I think, me personally, these are the views of Miss Patrese Nesbitt, not Kentucky State, not the department. I think Herbalife is nothing but a laxative. And so that's just me. Study on hair growth. I agree. I like that too. Yeah. These are good topics. So maybe you guys could, change the game, get in there and just really start studying it. Don't be discouraged. Don't be scared. You can do it. All right, so we're talking about disease frequency. Okay, we're basically the occurrence of something bad, basically a disease that is occurring. Then there's the concept, making sure I stick to my notes. There's prognosis, the likelihood, path of a disease. No, for real, because people are so confident, and because there's people. Sasha, I think you got a topic. I think that's that's all I'm going to say. I think that's a good topic. Yes. That's all I'm going to say. I worked in fitness for so many years, and yeah, I think you got yourself a side topic there. Anyway, that's a good one though. So basically, making sure I stick to my notes. Okay, prevalence just really addresses the commonality of something. Basically saying, as a result of smoking, the common result of chronic cigarette smoke is lung cancer, or the concept of a poor diet is tied to being morbidly obese. So. And then, of course, where you have the prognosis, just kind of the path that it goes on. So, let me see. Talking about that, let's say you're trying to instruct your students on how to do something or how to understand something, or let's say you're giving a presentation at a major conference, either for physical therapy or through SHAPE, or through NSCA, or through ACSM, and you want to describe maybe a picture or an image of something in terms of, okay, how do I draw this picture for people to understand what is going on? That's the concept of social math. Okay, so I wanted to pull up an article where it talks about something I'm very passionate about, because I have actually, a little side story, I almost lost my mom to childbirth of my younger brother, but she did tell me later on that she thinks that if she didn't have the right doctor who didn't know her well, her doctor actually delivered all three of us, she thinks she would have died. So maternal health is really important for me. Let's see if I can find it. Trying to, you guys are all in my folder. All right, so let's see. Just want you guys to see this. Basically, it's a comparison chart that compares black women to white women in terms of maternal mortality, which is basically the rate of a woman passing away as a result of childbirth. It just kind of compares the prevalence of black women to white women. Just given a rough number, a rough estimate, it's about, for every one white woman that passes away from childbirth, it's about 4 black women who pass away from childbirth. Same thing, this social math example. Basically, if you drink an 8-ounce box of Tropicana orange juice, it's basically tied to 2.2 Krispy Kreme donuts. Yeah, so that just kind of is what your social math in a nutshell is, without going too deep, is basically, let's go back to my YouTube live stream. Basically, it's just a concept that says, okay, in order for you to take this data and understand what's going on, I'm going to compare it to something that is relevant or something that I understand. There are pieces of data that are out there that talks about, and I can't find it at the moment, of course, where it talks about the rate of incarceration that prison systems, let me see if I can find it, because it's actually really good. Oh, I can't find it. No. Anyway, like I said, I got to wrap up on my time, but social math is so important, okay, especially if you're working in communities that are impoverished, or you have low SES or low socioeconomic communities. It's important to be able to take the data that you've received from maybe an epidemiologist, a public health practitioner, and be able to translate it for communities to understand what is going on. Sasha, you talked about Herbalife, okay? Maybe take what you find about Herbalife and, maybe do an observation study on people who may have had side effects from Herbalife, and then maybe turn it into social math, turn it into something that everybody else can understand who might be interested in Herbalife, and they're like, oh God, no. So social math is so important because it helps us to kind of shape our perception of things. So now, in your discussion, with me having 10 seconds left, in your discussion, let me move that away so you won't hear the noise. In the discussion for social math, yeah, it's telling me to stop. In the discussion for social math, what I want you to do is that I want you to answer the question about what is social math and its importance. Additionally, I want you to try to find something that is similar to what I just presented. Okay, something that says, okay, well, dang, if I just have one small 8 ounce of Tropicana orange juice, it's like almost 4 donuts or 3 donuts. So, I want something that I want you to find a picture, an infographic, and it could be easy. You could type in examples of social math. Don't let it be a repeat. I don't want to see the same one over and over again. But something that translates that, oh my gosh, I'm seeing this, and that's a result of that. I can relate to that. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns before I end this live, so I won't bore y'all to death, because I could go on and on and on and on. I really actually do enjoy public health. I like a little bit of data. So any questions, comments, concerns? How we feeling? And you could let me know, like I said, maybe you could put in the chat, like I said, safe environment. Maybe you can let me know in the chat, like, oh my gosh, I'm so over this online action. Yeah, I'm good. All right, Cal Morris, that's good. So I'm good this way. Cool beans. Yeah, so like I said, with me not trying my best to not go past 30 minutes, this will be recorded. Make sure that you go ahead and talk about your topic a little bit. You can also go in here and kind of have some discourse between your classmates just to really talk about, hey, I need some help here. Help me kind of position this. The instructions on how to do it is on Blackboard. Let's see if I can locate it. Let's see. If I can remember, I have everything is everywhere at the moment. There you go. How to do semester-long project. So I have it set up for you in terms of in Blackboard as far as a PowerPoint is concerned. And I definitely want it to be a very creative PowerPoint, something that maybe later on we could go back to and utilize for research. I think that's vital for us that we kind of keep a scholarly pulse, a scholarly pulse in reference to what we find in comparison to public health and physical education, athletic training, strength and conditioning, personal training, fitness, all of that, because I think those topics are neglected because we don't know how to present them. So I'll be honest with you guys, I'm kind of almost not the, but almost or sort of the pioneer in this, because I would love to try to combine these topics of public health and all things physical education, fitness, exercise, and athletics. And you guys are going to help me. Yep. And of course, y'all going to get the shine too. Any questions before I end this live? Any questions? Any questions, comments, concerns, praises? Okay. I think we're good. I think I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you guys for being patient with this live stream, because like I said, there's some delays here. But I hope you guys have a fantastic Wednesday. If I end this live and I miss your chat, just simply send me a message through the Remind app. Okay? Peace.